My name is Saman Aryana. I'm originally from Iran. I'm an assistant professor of Petroleum Engineering at the University of Wyoming, and I'm a scientist. When I hear the word scientist, the image that comes to my mind is of a person who's very thoughtful and has to consider all the evidence. Sometimes to come to a conclusion, the person has to gather a lot of data. And so kind of a thoughtful, sometimes quiet person who has to think quite a bit. The image of a scientist, I think, is very culture dependent. Different places have different views of what a scientist is, and there's a bit of skepticism in the general public when it comes to science and scientists in the US. I hope it changes for the better. I hope we can attract more people into science, more diverse groups, because it's an important element in a democracy, and it's something that you pick up in a university setting, I hope. The way I feel my identity gets challenged quite often is not the scientist part of it. It's at a more basic level. I feel my identity gets challenged as a human being quite often. And sometimes it shows up in academic settings, and it feels like I'm being challenged on, things that might relate to science. I think it's kind of a original sin of this country. It's not just the US, so it's not something that's just an American thing. It's all over the world in different ways. But we live here and we want it to be a better place. So I think the first thing to do is to talk about it and bring to people's attention, and to make them realize that when you're not part of the majority, it comes with costs, and it affects my life. It affects the way I interact with my family. It affects the way I interact with the students. It affects the way I interact with people around me. It's just, as long as there's small-mindedness, it creates an environment where belonging is difficult. And what's worked for me personally is talking about it, trying to create a conversation around these issues, being part of the solution as much as possible. We are stronger if we make space for everybody, because everybody brings something to the table. And we'd be better off if we provide room for everybody to feel like they belong.